Na 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 na. Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on X, Twitter at Movies TV Mad. You can now follow me on Blue Sky Mick, your host with the most, at Movies TV Mad, and on Instagram and on Threads at Movies TV Mad X. And if you're not watching me on YouTube right now, Movies TV Mad, 3 separate words. The channel's been going since 2018. Nobody watches it, hardly appreciate the people who do, but it's not a big deal. I'm not a big deal, but I like talking about my geek. So, is the Batman 2 gonna be cancelled? No, I'm not recycling an old conversation. I know I only spoke about this a week or two ago, but the rumours have resurfaced again. So let's look at the evidence for and against. So a lot of cast members have said they can't wait to be in Matt Reeves' The Batman 2, but they haven't spoken to Matt for a while and they haven't seen a script. Now, a few weeks ago, we were under the impression that Matt's The Batman 2 script had finished. But then James Gunn gave us all an update via Threads, I think, and told a fan that Matt Reeves was still working on The Batman 2. A couple of days ago, James Gunn was asked if The Batman 2 had been cancelled, and he said, you know, because some random had said it's about to be cancelled, and James said, why are you believing some random? And that's a good point, right? But maybe he's got some information, right? Listen, Matt Reeves is a notoriously slow writer. I've said this in other videos about this subject. So it's not really a big deal that this is taking so long. But why is this time taking so long? So the Penguin series, that storyline, that whole arc between Sophia and the Penguin and Vic, all of that was part of the Batman 2. That was the first kind of chapter of the Batman 2. So I'm thinking, because he's taken a chunk out of it to, you know, do Zaslav and Discovery, WB Discovery, a solid and give them something to kind of hold up their struggling streaming service, he's had to go back to the drawing board and put a new chapter 1 into the Batman 2 script. So it makes sense why this is taking a little bit more time. Now, this has had COVID delays, this has had strike delays, not COVID delays, but strike delays, because of last year's strikes. It was last year, the strikes. But listen, I never understood why they gave it such an early release. I think it was supposed to be coming out next year, alongside James Gunn's Superman. We all knew that wasn't going to happen because Matt Reeves is notoriously a slow writer. No one's seen the script. Nobody's spoken to Matt for a while. So some people believe that the Batman 2 has been cancelled. I don't believe it. I said this to James Gunn on Threads. Of course, he didn't reply. He's a busy man. But I said, not even this studio, yes, I said it like that to James Gunn. I'm a bit feisty. Not even this studio is stupid enough to cancel a sequel from a movie that made $750 million. Yes, Aaron Fisher, that is not a flop, my son. $750 million for the Batman during a pandemic. The ending of a pandemic, near the ending of a pandemic. That's $100 million more than Man of Steel. Another movie I really love, and I think 650 was perfectly fine, but the studio wanted more because they're a studio, they're greedy, they want to make $1 billion, they spent a lot of money on that film. I get that as well. So the Batman was not a flop, Aaron Fisher. It was a success. Peacemaker wasn't a bad show, Aaron Fisher. Now, I have different opinions about James Gunn. I believe Peacemaker was some of his best work. Aaron Fisher calls it disgusting, and no. Did you see him cuddling eagerly? Didn't you feel anything, Aaron? Don't you have any emotions? It was wonderful, the storyline between him and his father. Amazing stuff. Look, I like the little humour, I like the silly conversations between the characters. That's James Gunn. If you don't like that, don't watch him. That's what the man's going to give you, but he's promised something a little bit more serious and different for his Superman movie. I'm not going to judge that until I see that. Anyway, getting back to the subject of at hand, right? Do I believe that the Batman 2 has been cancelled? The Penguin show had some of the strongest ratings in streaming history. We've spoken about the box office of The Batman. I don't think that anyone's cancelling The Batman 2, that Matt Reeves is a notoriously slow worker, and I think The Batman 2 will absolutely happen. The man's been talking about what's going to happen in The Batman 2. And no, The Batman 2 is not cancelled from what I'm seeing things, but this is modern day entertainment. This is new Hollywood. Anything can happen. This is the studio that brought Henry Cavill back as Superman, or said they were bringing Henry Cavill back as Superman, just to convince us to go and watch Black Adam. So they cannot be trusted. Could it be viable that they're crazy enough to cancel The Batman 2? Of course it's viable. I just don't believe that's what they're going to do. So next today, let's ask the question, is Tyler Hoechlin from Superman and Lois the best Superman? No. Tyler Hoechlin is a great Superman. Now, I want to support Superman and Lois, especially as we're approaching its final episode. I think Tyler's an outstanding Superman. I think Bitsy's an outstanding Lois. I love the two lads playing the boys. I love Jordan Alas, who played John Kent before, the lad who took over the role. I was devastated that he lost the role, and that broke my heart, and I stopped watching it for a while, and then I got back into it because I was very unhappy that the lad left. Apparently it was about mental health issues. I don't know if that's true or not, but that was the official line. So Superman and Lois is one of the great Superman adaptations. Don't get it twisted. It's one of the great Superman comic book superhero TV shows. But is Tyler Hoechlin the best Superman? No. Christopher Reeve, in my eyes, is the best Superman. He looks like Superman. I love the man's costume. I think he's got the best Superman costume. A lot of people won't agree with that. It's so simple and disarming. It does his body. And Christopher Reeve's, understated performance does all the talking. Christopher Reeve in Superman 78, for me, is the best Superman. Tom Welling was outstanding as a pre-Superman Clark Kent for a decade. That show, for me, is better than Superman and Lois. It had a lesser budget. It was telling amazing stories. I mean, the amount of DC characters that they dealt with, it was amazing. They even had Connor Kent in the final season. I was watching season 9. They had Checkmate. They had Amanda Waller. I mean, they did so many things, They had Hawkman. They've had Dr. Fate. Smallville did everything, and most of the stuff they did from DC was great. So I don't believe that Tyler Hoechlin is the best Superman, but he's a great Superman, and congratulations to Todd Helbing, who helped develop, and he ran Superman and Lois for 4 seasons. He's done a great job. And I tell you what, that this final season is just the stuff of legend. And I certainly think we've got a chance of getting a better Superman and Lois series finale than we got a Smallville series finale. I discussed that yesterday. Finally, is Tom Welling's appearance in Crisis, is it canon? Should it be canon? No, not for me. That's not Smallville canon for me. No way. And I've discussed this before, but this is cropping up every day. Someone saying, that he should have had his beard, he should have worn the black costume and all of that. Tom Welling doesn't want to wear the costume. Tom Welling during Crisis and even now hasn't got the body shape to wear a Superman costume. That's not me, being horrible to Tom. I love Tom. Tom was amazing. I have all the respect in the world for Tom, but he can't put the costume on. I don't think he's going to go down the gym and prep himself to put the costume on. Look, Tom agreed to take a payday, and who can blame him? It's tough out there for an actor. He hasn't really worked that much since Smallville ended. It's difficult out there, so I understand where he took the gig. So I respected Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex Luthor for 7 seasons on Smallville, for not taking the Crisis gig. But having Superman give up being Superman is not who Superman is. And it wasn't what Tom Welling's Clark Kent did for a decade. Right? We watched you for a decade build up to becoming Superman, only for us to find out that you've given up being Superman. Listen, If he doesn't want to wear the costume, right, and fly about, that's fine. I wouldn't have minded Superpower Clark on the farm. That would have been fine. But giving up being Superman, that was a disgrace, my friends.